Okay, we had a little snag. So like I was saying, I still didn't understand the crux of the case or the issues dealt in the case. Like, what did the judges, so apologies, consider while contemplating this case? Apologies for that.
Say what?
Yeah, I have one doubt. As this is seven judges bench, but you are again and again saying that the two judges judgments only. What about the others? As seven judges bench, the majority has taken as a judgment, right? But you are again and again I am hearing that the Baijo and the another one judge, I don't know,
Justice
justice.
Bhagwati. Justice Bhagwati and Justice
Bhagavati,
Krishna.
exactly, Bhagavati. I am again hearing that Justice Baijan Bhagavati. But who are the other seven, other four, and what they said? But how they take only two judges judgment? It need to be the majority, right? How it was taken as this.
Majority was unanimous. It's a unanimous judgment. That is okay. All seven judgments concurred with the main decision. But the reasoning for the decision is still unclear. Like, what exactly was the issue considered in this case? How did the judges contemplate the said issues? And if possible, you can say what was the arguments given on behalf of the petitioner and the respondents.
Wonderful, wonderful questions I have. So, so to begin with, I will first answer Varun Vignesh's question because it's quite important. So important, to answer Varun Vignesh, the thing is that other judges, these two judges have given the judgment which other judges have accepted, and I said we accept. With that acceptance, they add very few minute points which is of not relevance. So I am not saying that. Okay, did I satisfy the great judge Varun Vignesh?
As panelist Ram Agadhan asked that before that mentioning that case, that Gopal and something case, he has the same right, but you are saying at the time you are opposed it, but you are saying now it is like they are accepting like that.
I didn't understand the question.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll rephrase Varun's question for you. So,
Ah.
like I was talking about the Krishna Kumar case, and in that case, I told that only three judges actually even wrote the judgment. The others just agreed on basis of one of the judges' judgment. Now, it is the same case is apparently happening here. I
Somewhat,
think that's what he's asking.
somewhat. It is
Is
not
there something
fully,
I'm missing?
and it is somewhat because you should understand that even though the judges have given an extra opinion, they accept. Like in Krishna Kumar Singh's case, as Shiva says, over there is one dissenting voice. In this case, there is no dissent. There, all the judges accept, and all the judges they only add on to the judgment. They don't subtract. They don't say that. Could I uh, extinguish the fire of questions that you had, Mr.
And he also mentioned like at one point the judges were like saying this is wrong, yet they are giving an opposite judgment. So
Yeah.
that is a little contradictory to what they are saying. So why is that? So
No,
they
no.
might have said it is wrong, but to contradict that statement, they might have said another statement. That is the statement that we would like to know.
Okay. As these two judges, and I'm confused with Justice Bhagwati and Justice Krishna here, these two judges have given an opinion and have said that this is wrong. Uh, As as always, the history is written by the victor. Like that, the majority voice is saying we don't accept. They don't give any reasons. I am for the satisfaction of my panelists, they might read the judgment. There is no reasoning. I can give you another situation. When Indira Gandhi's uh, review was filed for this Indira Gandhi versus Raj Narayan case, where her election was upheld, over there, the law and justice minister went to Justice B.R. Krishna here, said if you don't accept this petition and if you don't give a stay to the order of Allahabad High Court, which actually suspended her election, then we will not allow you to go to fight for the Chief Justice. We will not make you the Chief Justice of India. If you accept this petition, we will do. Like in the same way, like what Indira Gandhi had done, like what Indira Gandhi had done and was doing at this stage, the judges did not give any opinion. And even though Janata Party was ruling, Indira Gandhi had it back. Indira Gandhi was holding the reins of the government. Morarji Desai was the prime minister. Indira Gandhi was like the Krishna in this whole Mahabharata. Krishna did everything. So like that, Indira Gandhi did everything, and only the judges did the mouth service. Just to put it simply. So again, now to satisfy Shriya Mahadevan's question. Over here, I will quote 3 paragraphs from the judgment. It is the 3 paragraphs of Chief Justice Mirza Hamidullah Beg. In my estimation, the findings arrived at by my learned brethren after an examination of the facts of the case before us, which I concur, indicate that it cannot be said that a good enough reason has been shown to exist for impounding the passport. So the argument that I have initially made for the other petition by the indicate that that it cannot be said that a good enough reason. So Justice P.N. Bhagwati said that it is not a good reason. Passport of the petitioner cannot be said that a good enough reason has been shown to exist for impounding the passport of the petitioner by the order dated 7th July 1977. Furthermore, the petitioner has had no opportunity of showing that the ground of impounding it finally given in this court either does not exist or has no bearing on public interest, or that public interest cannot be better served in some other manner. Therefore, speaking for myself, I would quash the order and direct the opposite parties to give an opportunity to the petitioner to show cause against any proposed action on such grounds as may be available. If you hear this, and if you hear the final order of the court, it is contradictory. Is it or is it? It is. Because over here they say that it is absolutely wrong that it has won. Whereas the final order doesn't say that. So then the second paragraph I'm quoting. I am not satisfied that there were present any such pressing ground with regard to the petitioner before us that the immediate action of impounding her passport was called for. Furthermore, the rather cavalier fashion in which disclosure of any reason of impounding her passport was denied to her, despite the fact that the only reason said to exist, the possibility of her being called to give evidence before a commission of inquiry, and stated in the counter affidavit filed in this court, is not such as to be reasonably deemed to necessitate its concealment in public interest, may indicate the existence of some undue prejudice against the petitioner. She has to be protected against even the appearance of such prejudice of bias. But does the judgment give that? Does the judgment provide what the Chief Justice of India has said? No. It appears to me that even executive authorities, when taking administrative actions which involve any deprivation of or restrictions on inherent fundamental rights of citizens, must take care to see the justice is not only done, but manifestly appear to be done. They have a duty to proceed in a way in which is free from even the appearance of arbitrariness or unreasonableness or unfairness. They have to act in a manner which is patently impartial and meets the requirement of natural justice. So the findings, these are some of the end findings of the judges. One of the lead judgments. Over here, when we see that the judges are actually going in favor of the petitioner. Whereas I had already mentioned you the final order. This is actually the final parts of Chief Justice's order. So we can see how in a minority was Menaka Gandhi's Menaka Gandhi's rights given. So then the question. So the attitude last not the last, but I quote the attitude adopted by the Attorney General, however, shows that passport authorities realize fully that the petitioner's case has not been justly or reasonably dealt. Then why did the judgment give? Why did the judgment provide that the registrar will have the passport? I have no idea. As the undertaking given by the Attorney General amounts to an offer to deal with it justly and fairly, after informing the petitioner of any ground that may exist for impounding her passport, it seems that no further action by this court may be necessary. How? Does the judiciary believe that the regional passport officer will do everything what they say? I don't know. So, in view of, however, of what is practically an admission that the order actually passed on 7 July 1977 is neither fair nor procedurally proper, I would, speaking for myself, quash this order and direct the return of the impounded passport for the petitioner. I also think that the petitioner is entitled of her cost. Over here also they said the cost. The final judgment doesn't provide. Why? Question. Say.
So now my question is, the issues were clear now. Facts, obviously, it's very simple. The judgment is very contradictory. One place is saying that the the petitioner has the right to get her passport back, while in the final judgment given, it's the absolute opposite of it. So now the question is, you mentioned a point where you say that the judges believe that the judiciary doesn't need to interfere here, and the passport officer will do whatever is required and do the needful. So after this particular case in 1978, was there any other further appeal before the Supreme Court? Because that would imply
No.
that the passport office didn't do anything. If there was an appeal, if there was no appeal, can we assume that the passport office returned the passport back and eventually in one very weird tangle, justice was delivered?
You should understand that the passport is with the registry, it's not with the regional passport office. So it is on the duty, it is on the order of the court that the registry will give. And for that, there has to be another.
I thought it was regional passport. So it's with the registry of the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and
that's what happened. That's my question. Because whenever I look into this case and I search aftermath of Menaka Gandhi case,
they only give judgment.
They only talk about the legal standpoint and what happened to Article 21, how it expanded and the greatness of Justice P.N. Bhagavati's judgment. But they don't actually say the incidents that took place after this judgment. That is a vague thing which I would like to get clarified.
To sadden my co-panelists, I must also confess that even with my, I had asked the same question to one of the judges, or not of this case, but of our High Court, and I asked him whether what was the impact. He said that we also are don't know. The judges don't know. P.N. Bhagavati doesn't know. No judge knows. So even though the passport is so the question which arises now, is the passport still with the registry? No idea. Is the has the justice been done? No idea. Is the judgment contrary? Yes. Is the judgment very crazy? Yes. And it's that I can't say because this also nobody knows. So it can be assumed for a minute, or it can be assumed for a while that the passport of Menaka Gandhi is still with the registry. Because if the execution doesn't happen, then you can't take away or the fine. There is no order on that. Yes, Varun. Ask.
I like to have your opinion. What will you do at that time as you are a justice on that position?
If I was a judge in this case, I will be in the minority. I can't do anything. I can just write a letter to the Ministry of External Affairs to do that, and I would have given a very fiery opinion. The judges, exceptionally Justice B.R. Krishna Iyer and Justice P.N. Bhagwati, was very docile, was very did not say anything bad or did not say anything for which even though there is even there is a statement. Justice P.N. Bhagwati, when he became the Chief Justice of India, he wrote a letter to Indira Gandhi saying, "Thank you for appointing me as the Chief Justice of India." Why will a judge of the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of India for that matter, go to the Prime Minister of India and say, "Thank you, Madam, for making me the Chief Justice"? It is on record. And Justice Bhagwati has now recently, he passed away in 2013, if I'm not wrong. Before that only, 2016. Before that only, he said that I was wrong in that action. He wrote a letter to the Prime Minister. Doesn't that show that in this case we had a biasness towards the Union of India? Doesn't that show? It shows. We can't do anything.
So now I have another question.
Please.
We can somewhat infer that there is small bias towards the Union of India.
Yes.
If we want to file an appeal, is it even possible, or is there nothing to do?
For that, you should understand that the registry, the Secretary General of the Supreme Court has to act accordingly. And during that time, even though Indira Gandhi was not in the helm of affairs, everything was controlled by her. There is a I think the strength of the bench, strength of the Supreme Court during that time was quite bigger than the seven. So I think the appeal could have come, but it have our question. That is what happened in this case. And this case is absolutely, even though we say it's great, it's wonderful. I would request Gautam Bhatia has given a lecture on A.K. Gopalan's case. Just hear it. You will get much more clear as to the contradiction that has been done in the past. Even in this case, A.K. Gopalan's case, judgment has been the great Chief Justice Patanjali Shastri. Chief Justice Patanjali Shastri wrote the judgment. Over there also there is a problem. Only Justice Fazal Ali, who is also a judge in this case, said that the action was wrong. What happened to A.K. Gopalan? So, whereas other judges very good, wonderful work by the government. They did not say anything. They only interpreted. The fact is, judges should interpret law, but they should also do justice. They should do what Justice Leonard had said of the U.S. Supreme Court: "Do justice, sir, do justice, and let justice be seen to be done." Justice should be seen. The justice is not seen, or in any case, going from A.K. Gopalan to Maneka Gandhi, or for any case for that.
So, we now covered what exactly happened in this case now. So, this case seems like it doesn't serve this 157-page document, as far as I know, right? It doesn't deserve the 157-page document. So, related to this case, nothing has happened. But what about Article 21? What was the impact of this case towards the development of Article 21?
In the development of Article 21, it was a magnanimous step, because over here they went in depth as to what is the procedure established. They have if you go only to Justice P.N. Bhagwati's judgment, they say what are the things to be done, how is the procedure established by law happened, what was the notion during in England, how did that happen, what is right, what is right to life and liberty, how should it be governed, and etc. If you, I think for that you should go into the judgment, because for me to explain that, it will be a laborious task. And the thing is that only in this judgment for the first time it opened the floodgate of right of Article 21. For the first time, it opened the floodgate of right. That was the biggest impact that had. Even there is a chapter, there is a, I think, a 26 or 27 page chapter in MP Jain's book on just what happened after Maneka Gandhi's case on Article 20. So you can read that as well. Yes, yes, but you have to leave.
No. As you are a law student, you are ready constitution. Is the judgment is right? Actually,
No, it is not right. The justice has not been done in this case. You have heard both sides. You don't feel that it is somewhat like the verdict. Over there, you say Ram Lalla is a juristic personality. You say Ram Lalla is a Ram Janmabhoomi, we are not certain. Babri Masjid, we are not certain. But then you give it to the Hindus. How is that possible? How is this justice? What is the reasoning? What is the logic? God knows. Only God
then
knows.
why this judgment is taken as a landmark judgment for the Article 21?
It opened Article 21's floodgate of rights. That's right. You yesterday that there is no such benefit or there is no such
Which
thing to be served in this judgment. And that's why I'm telling you should hear Gautam Bhatia. It is 44 minutes. It is 44 minutes on A.K. Gopalan. If you can hear it, you will understand how the contradiction actually arose from A.K. Gopalan about being a landmark judge. It has done nothing. It has seriously done nothing.
thank you
Any
so
other
much.
questions? I don't have anything. Right. Okay. So let me just conclude by saying that, to be frank, even though your explanation was
It's a
great,
wrong judgment.
I would be better off without learning about this case, because I'm just filled with more confusions now before reading or even listening to you. I mean, doesn't this set a dangerous precedence, like giving some contradictory opinions in one judgment without any reasonings?
Okay.
Isn't that like okay?
No.
Yeah, you say.
So the thing is, what happens by the great judges, not of the Supreme Court, of any court on the matter, great judges at large, what do? They will not say about the final. In any book for that matter of constitution, they will not say what is the final order of the court or what is the final judgment. They will just take the obiter dicta. That's the easiest way out. As they are taking only the obiter dicta, as they are saying what are the interpretations done by the court, so the landmark judgment criteria is being served, which his judgment has been for time immemorial a landmark judgment.
So as far as what I remember from my first year, obiter dicta is a comment a judge gives apart from talking about the ratio decidency. It is not binding also. Okay. So if a very powerful 7-judge bench like this only talks about obiter dicta, it doesn't even set up precedence. As far as I know.
No. I'm saying at large, what happens is the obiter dicta is only taken. Only they don't say what happened in the judgment. They only say what Article 19 was interpreted, how Article 19 was, how Article 21 was interpreted, how the history of Article 21 came. That is the only thing that is considered. For which it is a landmark judgment. For which it has absolutely. I am telling you, there is. For better clarification, I will request you to read the judgment. I know you people will not, but still, if you want to, you can read the judgment. It's an amazing article. It can be an amazing article. How hard is the judgment? I have no idea. It's an amazing article on Article 19 and 20. Amazing, just amazing article as to what is Article 19 and what is Article 20.
Yeah, that I agree with you. It's like a lecture and a
by the judge. Even though the saddest thing is that all the judges say, yes, it is wrong, yes, it is wrong, yes. Then why? For what no apparent reason the whole court comes into concurrence fight to feel that the passport should be with the registry. I have no idea. I have no idea. I have serious reservations on that. Say.
Do the judgment is used as a precedent?
Yes, yes.
As it is a wrong judgment, but it is like changing a law, right?
It is just no. Over here, it is interpreting the law. It is not serving justice. It is just so only the interpretation part of it is taken. You are taking just a handful of water out of a whole pond. Is just what happens in.
Yeah, as I can see from Varun's face, and probably what you see from mine, I don't know. This is not a convincing judgment. The expectation was completely different. Yeah, this is actually very confusing. The expectation was something else. What we have learned today is completely different. I can't even recall what we learned in the 2-3 days when this judgment was taken in class. So,
one thing you should understand: the law that it stands is because of this judgment. Article 21 stands.
I agree. Those points I remember. The only problem is the happenings and the incidents in this case make no sense. Yet they pave the way for decades to come for the interpretation of Article 19 and 21.
Yeah, and okay, I will get to I'll get to disturb you even more. If you read the Keshwan Bharti case, it's a humongous judgment. I'm just telling you, give me 1 moment. No.
I don't like to serve my mind.
No, 1 minute, 1 minute. In the whole Keshwan Bharti case, the subject matter of the case was a property dispute. Keshwan Bharti wants a property under the Kerala what act? I don't remember.
Yeah. So the railways were like nationalizing his property to build a track. That's all. The only fact. That's the only fact of the case. That I.
But what does the judgment say? Does it talk anything about land? Does it talk anything about land? No. It talks about basic structure doctrine. The same thing happened here. You are taking. I'm telling Nani Palkiwala, when he took up this case, he said, this case doesn't. I am not taking this case just for the case. No, sir. Nani Palkiwala said it is the interpretation of mine that Nani Palkiwala took this case just to fight for the amendment that had been done. Just for them, like that. Like the same thing happened in this case. They are not saying anything about the passport, for which only the facts are told to you. The judgment is never told to you on this case. Only the facts you remember. The judgment is absolutely not justice that has been done. For which, when I read in our class 11, I had an interest to study this subject, for which to know how did the judges think of it.
That is a very, very nice point, because we will never know how the judges thought and how they came to this very weird conclusion in the end. We will never know. It's going to be a mystery for the ages to come. So, yeah.
So far,
it's like a pyramid triangle. How can I understand? I don't know. It's wrong, but the facts we need to take.
For this simple reason, the lawyers who cite this case doesn't know what is the judgment of the case. They only submit the obiter dicta. They only submit what is the interpretation of law, and they are done with it. They say, "Oh, Maneka Gandhi, great case, great case." What is so great in this case? God only.
So, with this point, you can pose an interesting question to the viewers of this very weird video. I'll be frank. It's very weird for me because I didn't actually learn anything from this. Honestly.
Exactly.
So I'm going to ask them.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm going to ask them to suggest what exactly this case is about, and whether the opinions given by you and whether the questions we asked were right or wrong, or whether we interpreted it in a wrong way. Maybe we'll get to know something that we've not thought about before. That's the whole point. So we are going to learn by making videos.
No.
So, okay. So, yeah, now Varun was saying something. I interpreted.
Sorry. Even the Bermuda Triangle might solve, but this case might solve or not.
to
Yeah.
The judgments are like that. I really don't know. Then he said that our friend among us saying to like to read what the judgment said. Kesananda Bharati judgment.
and the
As
same
this,
thing happened.
as this judgment is still stuck in my mind. After reading Kesananda Bharati, I need to be mad like you.
157 page itself is driving us crazy. Multiplied by
Yeah.
10, yeah, we have to be admitted somewhere. So right now, with the knowledge of law we have, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So maybe again, Tamogna can do something there.
No, you can if you feel that any of the points that has been I request the viewers, if any points that you feel is I have not been able to interpret it well, please do say, and
Yeah.
would request the viewers not to file a contempt of court appeal. I don't
Yeah,
want to be filed
I need
under
to
the contempt
mention
of
it.
court case. Please. It's a
Yeah, this,
disclaimer, it's a request, it's an ardent request. I don't want to be filed in a contempt of court case. I said many things which is not which might hurt the institution of law. I have said nothing. I have just given my own fair judgment about this judgment. Thank you.
Very
actually, I plan to do this, but you are doing it in this name. Thank you, Damogna.
So that's it. Thank you, both of you, for coming and explaining this case to me.
Yeah, very big disclaimer. This is only for fun and learning,
Yeah.
not to not to do any of the things in the legal terms.
So like we are like patsers and amateurs. Patsers is like a terrible chess player, and amateurs is also a term related to that. So we are even below patsers in the legal field right now. We've not even gotten the basic education. There are more to come. Obviously, knowledge is
We are not even DLLB.
Yeah, is abundantly immense. So we're just trying to learn something in a different way. And the reason for that is we can't really read. At least I can't read. 2 pages and I'll sleep. So that's why unconventional method has been chosen. Okay. Thank you, both of you, for coming. And in advance, I'm
Thank
going
you.
to thank everyone who sees this and gives any comments. So it'll be really helpful for us to grow as future lawyers.
Thank you so much for arranging this wonderful opportunity to learn this case. Even though it's tough, I can
No, we
learn
didn't
some
actually
facts.
learn something. It was interesting. That's the truth.
Yeah, interesting. It's very interesting. Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for Tamogna for giving this wonderful speech.
And I thank my co-panelists for giving me this opportunity and thinking me to be so suitable so as to explain this complex case. With a sane mind.
So my legal contacts are very minimum, and the only person is you by that minimum saying. So thank you for coming. And maybe next time one of us will explain, because we want to rotate it in circles. So next time maybe Varun or me will try, and again we'll get harshly criticized by everyone for our stupidity, but that's okay. We are stupid people. We are actually stupid people. So it's absolutely fine for us to be criticized.
Anyway, it will not be like us, like Tamogna.
Yeah.
I will give surety for that.
Irony here is we are considering Tamogna to be a genius for our level. When this video goes and some extraordinarily brilliant person sees it, he'll say, "What is this nonsense? What is this nonsense?" He'll say, and then he'll say some comment about it, and we'll be like, "Oh, it's an aspect like this also." Okay. So yeah, that's gonna happen for sure, but okay. We will accept it because that's exactly the point of doing this anyway. So yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you everyone. And
Jai
hope
Hind.
to see you soon. Bye.